welcome into our new lecture. So in today's lecture we are going to study about what are buffer readers and how can we use them to write binary data inside our file. So basically in our previous lecture we had seen that how can we write data in our files, text files or binary files. So there is nothing different inside it, but the only difference is that when we are writing data in buffered mode, then our data is written in the form of chunks. Like it is not simply passed as a text, it is written in the form of chunks. So for that purpose, firstly we are going to import a module, import IO. So this is input output module. So now after that we have to use with open. So with open, this will open the file, and then we have to give the name of file. So I will take this as buffer.txt, and then we have to define the mode. So like our mode would be writing, so we would be writing in binary mode as bytes. Like our data would be written as bytes because we want to write in a buffer like in chunks. So every byte will have its own chunk size. So now we are using alias as f, and now what we have to do, we have to write the data inside it. So how can we write? So we have to firstly call our import module io dot and then buffer writer, so it will write our data as a buffer in this file. So we are passing that file, that open this file and then write the data in this file. So now our data would be written as a buffer in this file, and we are going to save this data in our like we have to take file. So now our whole data is written in this file, and now when we will like write, so we will write file. So we are going to file dot write, and then inside the write we have to write the data in bytes. So we are taking b, and then in these columns we are going to give our data. Like this is my first buffer line, and same way I'm going to write data file dot write, and then we are going to take binary data, and then this is my second buffer line. So now we can see that now if we run it, so our data is written. So if we open our file, so our file is buffer.txt, and we can see that there is no data inside it, because as we had seen in the open, like in our first class we used open and we used f.close, but this time for buffer file we don't have to use close, we are going to use flush. So file dot flush, so this will close our file, and now let us run this, and you can see that our data is written inside this file. So basically this is the method that how we can write our data in these chunks as a buffered format in our txt file. So we can see that our data is in a single line. So if we want to break the line, so we have to use backslash and then n, so this will break the line for us. And now if we run it and let us check that, so you can see that our line is in, so our next line is in the next line. So that's how we can write the data in line by line order. So now we had seen that how can we write the data. So how can we read the data? So for that purpose we are going to open our file. So with open, and then we have to read binary data. So we are going to take our file name, the file which we want to read. So our file name is buffer.txt, and then we want to read the binary data, so we have to pass rb, so read binary as f, so as f. And now what we have to do, we have to call our io dot buffered reader. So I'm going to call buffered reader, and then inside it we are going to pass our file. So this is file alias, and we are going to store this in our file. So file is equal to io dot buffered reader. So now it will read the data from this file, and if we want to see that what is inside our data, so what we have to do, we have to go f dot we have to use file dot file dot read, and now if we run it, it executes successfully, but it is not displaying anything because we have to print our data. So I'm going to call the print statement here, and let us just run it. So you can see that our whole data got printed. And if we want to print some specific bytes, like here we have to initialize the size of like how many bytes we want to read. So let me just give here 10. So we can see that it only reads the first 10 bytes. So basically here we can define the size, like how many bytes we want to read, and that size would be read by the buffered reader as well. So that's it for today. And we had seen in our previous videos as well that how can we write our data and how can we read our data and save our data in our local system, because we have to at the end of the day we have to save our data. So for that purpose we will use our local storage, because we cannot save our data on our RAM or other spaces. So we have to use our local memory to store our data. So thanks for watching and see you next lecture. Bye.